Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It's your girl, Denise Salcedo, and today it is Tuesday, December 5th, and you guys know what Tuesdays are all about. That is WWE NXT Conversation. And this episode actually gave us a lot to talk about. There's some really great stuff heading into NXT Deadline. Of course, we now know the fifth and final participants for both the men's and the women's Iron Survivor challenges. We also got several more matches added to the card. And unfortunately, we do have some heartbreaking news to talk about as well, because we'll get to it in just a second, actually. But Wesley has revealed that he's injured, and it was a very emotional start to the show. So we'll get to that in just a second, guys. But I am really bummed out about Wesley, because that was kind of very heartbreaking to watch. But we're going to talk about that in just a second. We got a lot to get into here today. We got a lot of people in the comments out here putting over today's episode of NXT, given the fact that this was the go-home show into NXT Deadline. I kind of felt here's the thing, heading into Deadline, I feel that there's always this mix, right? There's people that always watch NXT. So if you're always following the product, chances are you're going to be interested in the pay-per-view because you've been following the stories and whatnot. And then there's times where you get some of those people that watch the show, even if they're not often watching NXT. I can't really tell what kind of mix we're going to be seeing for people. I feel like I haven't really been seeing a lot as many people talking about NXT Deadline. Maybe that's just me, but I think that the women's Iron Survivor and the men's Iron Survivor is something to really be excited about. And I had told you guys, or rather predicted, because it was pretty obvious that this was what they were headed, was making a singles match between Roxanne, Perez, and Kiana James, and we got that made for today too. So I hope that this pay-per-view that people tune in, because there's some good stuff on here. The main event is kind of, so with Ilya and Baron Corbin, I don't feel like the main event is that hot. I feel like this show, people are primarily going to be tuning in for the Iron Survivor Challenge. That's kind of the vibe that I get just from what I see on social media, because that's really all we have to base things off of, really. So, I mean, aside from when we're actually going to the crowds and whatnot, but sometimes it's a little hard to tell with the CWC. But anyways, I'm looking forward to this show. There's a lot of stuff on Deadline that I'm really excited about. But let's get into today's show. Let's talk about what went down. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off with a couple of super chats that we got here. And this one is from Steven, who says, who wins between Roxanne and Kiana? Well, we're going to get to the predictions in just a second, Steven, but I feel like Roxanne Perez, we've been seeing this fiery, edgy side of her. I would hate to see that just quickly be erased and done with. So I almost want to see her get the win, but that's my opinion as of right now. Who knows? It could change by the time we get to the end of this stream. The Beb Jr. says, I'm excited for Deadline, and also heard from PWI that Cora is expected to return at Deadline too. So there was actually a moment during the show, which I actually missed. And if it wasn't for somebody on Twitter who told me, and then I went and double checked, and yeah, this is true. So during the Andre Chase U University segment, there was some sort of QR code that took people to this video, and I saw the video on Twitter, and it's basically Cora Jade's voice saying, I'll see you at Deadline. And so that's kind of the big hint that we're getting in regards to whether or not she's going to be there. And we actually got some more super chats that aren't popping up on my end, but I'm seeing them here. So here we go. This one's from Jay Miller, 3389, who says, why undercut the NXT men's mid-card by using main roster wrestlers to go after the NXT North American title in place of Wesley? Dom Dragon Lee makes no sense to me. Okay, so this match was made, and the reason I think that Dragon Lee was put into this match is I can only imagine, first of all, it makes sense to me only to put him in there because who is Dominic Mysterio's biggest foe? Obviously, it's Rey Mysterio, his father. And Rey Mysterio said it in that promo. He said, I'm going to choose somebody that's near and dear to my heart, someone that's close to the family. Well, who's been doing a lot of helping out the LWO over on Smackdown? It's been Dragon Lee. So that's really the only reason. Now, this is super last minute from what we're seeing. So I'm totally okay with this. And I I feel like given all the circumstances, that Dragon Lee being the one to come in and fill in is definitely a-okay by my standards at least. So I'm definitely okay with it, Jay Miller. Tim Weinerger Jr. sends in a super chat saying, oh my God, this card for Saturday is getting better and better. Cannot wait to go to it. It will be my kid's first premium live event and my first in 20 plus years. Dang, in 20 plus years. I can't believe it, Tim. Oh my God, how fast time flies. But I hope you and your family enjoy yourselves at the show. I think you guys will have a good time, especially with the dynamics of the Iron Survivor. I think it'll be fun to watch live. I was there live last year and I got to watch these matches live, and it's a lot of fun because it's such a new concept. We're not really used to it. We've only gotten one match before, so to kind of see all of the inner workings and everything that goes down in a match type like that, I think you're going to enjoy yourself very, very much. Thank you so much to Tim. Ebony Prince gifted a membership here to the DWO. Ebony Prince, thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate you so very much for doing that. You rock, man. This is from, let me see. I think I'm all caught up. Nope. This is from Stephen Marchuli, who says, Deadline is loaded. I'm picking Trick and Tiffany. And those are Steven's picks for both the men's and the women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Alrighty, everybody. Let's go. So we're going to start things off with the unfortunate news regarding Wesley. So this is what went down. Last week, Wesley earned the right to face Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American title. We were here talking about this match. He faced Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, and Johnny Gargano in what was a phenomenal performance of a match for all the guys. And Wesley got the win. He was headed to Deadline, and I had even predicted that Wesley was going to win the NXT North American Championship. And then today, he comes out on NXT and he's got this little cane with him. And I'm like, honestly, the whole entire time I was thinking, what the hell did I miss? I kept thinking I missed something. And I'm like, was there an attack that I didn't watch? Did something happen? Like, I wasn't too sure, honestly, what I missed here. I didn't understand what was going on, right? So I'm thinking, okay, fine, just listen and you'll figure it out at some point, right? So he's talking about how, you know, he got this opportunity from winning the Fatal 4-Way to face Dominic Mysterio. He starts talking about the fan support. And then he says that all of the fan support right now, unfortunately, is not going to help him out in this particular situation, that he's not going to be getting back his NXT North American Championship, that it's not going to be happening. And then he says, and during this entire part, I may add, I thought, oh, this is leading into something like this is not, I wasn't expecting this to be like legit. I thought this was just a work. Like I didn't know what was happening here. I really didn't realize that this was legit until Wesley started crying. Like legit tears from Wesley. And at first I was still even a little bit I was a little bit not thinking that it was super real even then, because we have seen Wesley do these emotional promos in the past. And I thought, man, maybe he's just like a really good actor. So I don't know if I was just trying to not like accept it or what, but I was very confused throughout this. And then finally, when he starts saying he lost feeling in his legs, when he was saying that he's had excruciating pain and the tears are coming down a lot more now, I'm like, okay, this is legit. I even waited till the entire segment played out to even tweet anything, because I'm thinking, okay, what if something happens? What if this is some crazy random swerve that wouldn't make sense at all in the story? But okay, we'll see where they go, right? So it wasn't, by the way, Wesley. So he didn't actually say at first what was technically wrong with him. And Dominic Mysterio comes out and interrupts him. And Dominic Mysterio is actually the one that mentions that he has a bad back. And then Dominic's making fun of him. He's mocking him, all of this, right? And Dominic starts thinking he's not going to have a match at Deadline. And Wesley is like, yeah, dude, you're still going to have a match. Here's Rey on the screen. Rey Mysterio pops up on the screen, and he basically says that the guy that is going to be facing Dominic for the NXT North American Championship, it is going to be Dragon Lee because he's close to him. And also, we have seen some history between Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. I almost forgot to mention that portion of it. But all of this was a lot that kind of came at us because none of us here were expecting to see Wesley in this situation. And I got to tell you guys, I'm really bummed out for Wesley because we need to think about this timeline. This timeline of events that has occurred. And this is just a rough timeline based off of my memory here, but we literally went from MSK coming into NXT and being this hot tag team that is gonna take off in WWE, right? They win the tag team titles. MSK is out there doing their thing. Then the whole drama goes down with Nash Carter, and Nash Carter is taken out. And we kind of don't see Wesley for a second. And when we finally do, he cuts this very emotional promo talking about how what happened to Nash Carter also affected his career because they were a tag team. And so then from there on out, we kind of see Wesley sort of floating around a little bit. They were testing out like all of these different things. Like, remember when we were getting like Beach Wesley and all of these really random scenarios with Wesley? And then he finally won the NXT North American Championship, and he went on to have a series of really great matches. Everything was going good for him. And then he lost the title and then finally got back into the title picture. And now this happens. So I'm not exactly sure when it happened or anything like that because they didn't really give us that information. But it was later on in the show, I think the following segment afterwards, where they had Vic Joseph over on commentary say that he is going to be having back surgery and that his recovery time is between 8 to 12 months. So 8 to 12 months is when we're probably looking at, that's just the recovery time for Wesley. So we're probably not going to see Wesley back in quite some times, guys. I'm going to say maybe like a year, maybe even a little bit over a year. I mean, look at Randy Orton, guys. He was gone for like 500 and something days. And thankfully, the time flew by. He was able to come back and do his thing. And hopefully that happens for Wesley too, where he's able to go, get his surgery, recover, do what he needs to do, and then eventually come back to the ring because I don't know if I should say he's had a string of bad luck. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I know because of his tag team breaking up and stuff, but it's more so that it just sucks whenever you see an injury, period, and especially an injury like this because, your back is your back, man. There's a lot that's just... it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. So I was very heartbroken to see this for Wesley. And I know everybody here is too. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery. And I can't wait for the show where I'm on here saying Wesley is back. So yeah, that's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. Malik Black says and sends in a super chat saying Lash got me picking her after slamming Otis. Oh boy. What a moment that was. I cannot wait to get to that. Sheldon Jackson continues his streak here with gifting DWO memberships. Sheldon Jackson gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Sheldon. Thank you very much. I appreciate you a whole lot, man. And let's go ahead and continue on from here. And I'm reading everybody's comments here. And yeah, this is from Zeno Hour, who says Wesley was starting to have a good year. It was starting to, really pick up for him. And like I said, guys, he did some great stuff when he did have the NXT North American Championship for a while. So we'll see. Larace Johnson says the North American Championship is very cursed right now. It was one of those things where, hold on one second. Let me pull up the list of champions because I remember there was this patch of NXT North American champions with just like really shitty luck, man. And it was this thing where you're like, I felt so bad for like everybody that was holding the title because it was just not going so well for them. Hold on. I'm trying to remember here. I know it was, when was it? All right, let's rewind a little bit. All right, here we go. So it was after Johnny Gargano left, and then we had Bronson Reed. He was the champion, and then he ended up getting released So May 18, 2021 was when Bronson Reed had the title. Then he ended up getting released. And then they gave the title to Swerve Strickland, who was Isaiah Swerve Scott here at the time. And then after he held the title, he ended up getting released after that. And then things finally started to kind of get back on board with Carmelo Hayes, Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes again, because we went to Carmelo Hayes quite a few times. And then remember when they took the title off of him for Solo Sikoa? Solo Sikoa held it for a week and then they vacated the title, and then it was vacated for like the longest time, and it wasn't until Wesley won the title back at Halloween Havoc in October of 2022. And then he held the title for 269 days, which was the period of time that I was telling you guys where he had a lot of successful defenses. And then from there, we went back and forth with Dominic, and then like the 1 day reign for Trick Williams. So yeah, you can say there's been some bad luck with the NXT North American Championship, but not too much, because it was really just those guys that had won it and then unfortunately got released, and then the whole vacating thing, which kind of sucked. But yeah, man. And that's just kind of like recently. So that's where we're at. Cosmic Joe Chronicle says the women's tag team titles are the most cursed titles. Let me tell you, I really thought for a second that those titles were cursed. Thankfully, right now, things are going well. So good, knock on wood, everything's okay. Thumbs up. But unfortunately, it was looking for a bit like those titles were just like not working out for anybody. But now it looks like things are okay with them. And we got a question here from John Deller, who's a DWL member, who says, do you think that Santos will be there Saturday? Oh my God, who knows? Maybe he'll attack Rey Mysterio. Maybe, although he probably shouldn't, because Rey Mysterio really did get surgery. So it would be like, he only got surgery like a couple weeks ago from what I remember. So it probably wouldn't be like the best idea, but maybe they can do something where like they taunt him almost attacking, and maybe security can get to him before he ever even touches Rey Mysterio. I don't know. They can probably work around it. But given right now how good of a heel Santos Escobar has been on SmackDown, I feel like there has to be some sort of moment with Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. We'll see. Of course, this is all coming together last minute, guys. The pay-per-view is literally on Saturday. So it's coming together. This particular storyline is coming together a little on a tighter notice. Will Chisholm says, is Ava HBK's co-GM because she's making matches now? Yeah, I was surprised by that. So it seems that Ava Raine is kind of making things happen. And even Carmelo Hayes kind of spoke about this with her backstage. Ava Raine was actually the one that announced the Roxanne Perez Kiana James match. I don't really know what's happening here with Ava Raine. She literally went from being in a cult kidnapping people and freaking praying to a tree. They weren't praying to a tree, but it seems like they were praying to something. I don't know what they were praying to. I wasn't in this cult. I don't know what the schism was all about. What was it? The 4 roots, 1 tree. There you go. 4 roots, 1 tree. They weren't actually praying to a tree that I know of. All right. So anyways, Ava Raine is kind of starting to take on more of a different role today. Like I said, she announced that match. She had that backstage moment with Carmelo Hayes. She was in and out of Shawn Michaels' office. So maybe she's just the messenger right now. That could be it. She could be the person that is sending the messages from Shawn Michaels to the people. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Will Chisholm, thank you so much for the super chat. We got a super chat here from Tim Weinerger Jr. who says, my question is, why did Solo vacate, but Dom has it? Dude, Tim, when this happened, I was so freaking irritated. I remember coming on here and talking about this on the show and just being so freaking irritated by that. That's in the past. That was literally an entire year ago. So there's kind of no point in rehashing that now. But they literally had Solo. I think he defended the title on one SmackDown. It might have even been the SmackDown that I was at in Anaheim. And then that was it. And they had him vacate the title. But keep in mind that the landscape of NXT was a lot different then. NXT was still treated as a developmental during that time. And obviously it's still a developmental, but you weren't really seeing main roster stars go over there. Like it was kind of a different feel to the show, and things have changed since then. So I think if that would have happened now, maybe they wouldn't have had Solo Sikoa drop the title. But who knows? I think that it was more so they knew he was going into the bloodline. They knew he was going into this big story. And so having the NXT North American Championship just didn't fit anymore, which is kind of dumb because he could have just had a match. But as we know, they kept Solo Sikoa strong for a very long time. So I think now in hindsight, we know why they did what they did. But during that time, it really sucked that they did that, especially because Carmelo Hayes was literally killing it as champion, and he didn't really need to. He really didn't need this to happen. So that's where we're at. But anyways, that's neither here nor now, I guess. Tim Weinerger Jr., thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so let's see what we got here. There was an announcement, too, that we're getting the men's breakout tournament. Well, we already knew this. Cody Rhodes broke this news when we had the famous Super Tuesday episode where Cody Rhodes, The Undertaker, John Cena, everybody and their mothers was on that show. And we officially have the participants in the men's breakout tournament. We're going to be seeing Riley Osborne, Canal Carver, Tavion Heights, Dion Lennox, Luca Crucifino, Miles Bourne, Trey Bear Hill, and Oba Femi. So we got your 8 guys here. A lot of these guys you really haven't seen much on NXT, so they really are going to be very new to a lot of the viewers. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with a couple of people already. I was seeing a lot of people kind of rooting for Oba. I did see that a whole lot on Twitter and a couple of other names that were thrown out there. But for the most part, I still need to see way more of all of these guys to even give an opinion on this. So I'm excited for the men's breakout tournament. I want the men's division to get a little bit more spicy because I'm just going to say it. I've said it a million times, but right now the women on NXT are freaking carrying this show. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great stuff with the men, a lot of great stuff, but I feel like the women right now are more so the stars on the show. And so for that reason, I think we need to make a little bit more stars for the guys, because for the guys right now, it really just feels like there's a couple of people. You got your Trick Williams, who's getting some great reactions. And that's kind of it. I'm trying to think. And someone here, I'm sure you guys will have plenty more names that I'm not thinking about right now. But I feel like it's just the girls that are really the stars right now on the show. So anyways, excited to see the men's breakout tournament. It's going to kick off next week. So that'll be fun to talk about because we'll see who's great and who's just there. Christopher Smith sends in a super chat saying Cora Jade is coming back. I think she'll get involved, but don't know what match. Also, Braun hitting a double spear was elite. Yeah, I should say, by the way, that was some really good stuff. I don't want to say that the men are not killing it on NXT, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that the women are just, you know, they're a couple notches higher, in my opinion, right now. So shout out to them. And Christopher Smith, thank you so much for pointing this out as well. And yeah, I can't wait to see Cora Jade back. God, I feel like it's been forever. And she was literally one of the most featured women on the show. And now it feels like, oh my God, I feel like so many other people have just like passed her by, which is weird because I still think that once Cora Jade comes back, she's going to get back into the groove of things. So that's not to say she's not, but a lot of the other women have grown a lot more on the show in terms of personality and in-ring wise as well. Christopher Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. All right, and let's see where we're at with everything. Let's go ahead and get into the Chase U situation. So Chase U had a segment today, and I mentioned the QR code. There was a couple things that came out of this. 3 things. The QR code, which reveals that Cora Jade is going to be at Deadline because they have a voice, a women's voice that sounds like Cora Jade. And she's saying, I'll see you at Deadline. And that was in a QR code that was taking you to this video where that's what you heard in the audio. The second thing is that Chase U, as we already knew, is in debt due to the fault of Andre Chase. And the students are trying to figure out a way to pay off his debt. So they're coming up with all of these different ideas because right now financial aid has been stopped and all of these things, right? And 3, Thea Hale looks to have started to develop a crush. So it looks like we're finally going to start getting another love story on NXT. And it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Remember when we had Index? We had, what else did we have besides Index? There was some other ones. Can't even think of them right now. But I think we need to get another love story. I'm here for it. We had we had Fallon Henley. She was also involved in a love story for a bit. But no, I definitely think that we need to get another one here. And with Thea Hale, she's so good at the character stuff that this is going to be really great if they decide to do that. But those are really the three things that we got from the Chase U segment here. And I don't know where they're going with this anymore, guys. I don't know what they're going to do with the university. I don't know if they're going to raise these funds. I have no idea what the hell is going to happen with this story. I'm more interested in Thea Hale and her crush. Personally, that's the thing I'm most interested in. Although, if they do a bake sale like My Bad brings up here, God, they got to give us an option to get in on that. Malik Black sends in a super chat saying Braun spearing someone through the penalty box. Hell yeah, let's go. That would be very, very fun. I'm pretty sure we got something like that last year. I don't know, man, because I never rewatched last year's Iron Survivor Challenge. Again, I only watched it the one time. So I need to kind of refamiliarize myself with what happened in that match. Malik Black, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Someone brings up Lash and Otis. Well, it's not really a love story. It's more so that Otis has a crush on Lash Legend, and she does not seem to be reciprocating that at all. And we might as well get into that because we saw Alpha Academy take on Metaphor in a 6-person mixed tag team match. And really, the things here to note, guys, freaking Lash Legend picked up Otis and literally body dropped him, body slammed him into the freaking mat. It was insane, guys. Otis goes to the ropes. He runs back in. He's got a lot of momentum. She grabs him like nothing, picks him up, turns him over, bam, brings them down to the mat. It was incredible. First of all, I had no idea that Lash Legend could do anything like that. And I know obviously Otis got really light for her. We know that, guys. It would be crazy if he, we need to shout out Otis for how light he can get, because we've also seen Bianca Belair pick up Otis. I'm trying to remember if there was somebody else who's picked up Otis. I remember the Bianca Belair one. And then now this one with Lash Legend. And so shout out to him, man, because a lot of people don't know how to do that, but Otis definitely does. But even then, man, Otis can get light as hell. And I bet you that 10 out of 10 people here in this chat, including myself, would not be able to pick up Otis, even if he got as light as he possibly could. That requires some strength. That requires a lot of power, athleticism. It requires a whole lot that I and most of us probably don't have. But Lash Legend freaking has it. You know what? Lash Legend literally went from just being there and then being kind of put into this Metaphor thing that has not been my favorite thing at all, to all of a sudden being the most interesting person in Metaphor. Lash Legend literally has started to outshine everybody on Metaphor. And I'm not even kidding you with that. She's outshining everybody here. She is also part of the Iron Survivor Challenge. This was a great spot to get us excited about her, because when she qualified for the Iron Survivor Challenge, I was like, oh, that's random. I wasn't expecting Lash Legend to be part of this. And to be honest, I was counting her out. I was completely counting her out of this match. But after this moment, all of a sudden, she went from a 5 to a 10 for me, where I'm interested in what Lash Legend has to bring to the table. And I want to see more of this prowess from her, because now that we got this taste, we're going to need a little bit more. That's for sure. So, man, shout out to Lash Legend. Tonight was her night. She had a great night, because later on she also had some good promo work in that Women's Summit, which we'll get to in just a second. But that was great. Maxxine looked great. She had a moment where Chad Gable helped her. I think it was off the top rope. Yeah, off the top rope, gets her down, She does a flying crossbody, like literally onto everybody there, and she's doing her whole celebration thing. We've seen her do that a couple of times now, but she had a good night too. And we'll see if Lash Legend at some point decides to show some love to Otis. Otis was going crazy, guys. He was like dancing and celebrating, and he was literally like ripping off the singlet and was Girls Gone Wild, but like Otis edition. So it was a good time, though. It was a really good time of a match for something that I truly did not care about at all. Ebony Prince says Kiana James and the bar guy. I know Josh Brooks Jensen. I always forget which one it is, but I swear to God, for like the last couple of months, I always forget which one it is. But yeah, Kiana James and the bar guy. Ebony Prince, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Oh, man. Thank you. Ebony Prince says Kiana James and Brooks. I always forget. Cover the show on a weekly basis. I've been doing it so for years, and I always forget. And Dante NYC points out that Lash Legend has improved a whole lot since joining Metaphor. I agree. She definitely has. Malik Black points out that that's Otis' story. The women start off disgusted at him, and then they fall for him. Well, that's what we saw with Mandy Rose. I used to love that story. By the way. Stuff like that, I think, just piques our interest. You know, it really does pique our interest. Here we go. We got this thought from cute Zoe Monster, who says, I hate Otis hitting on a woman that is clearly not into it. Feels gross, more so like he is the face and we're supposed to take his side. The body slam was dope, though. I get what you're saying by that. But I think they're mostly trying to do it in this like comedic way. If it was coming off in like a pervert, creepy way, I would totally agree with you and be like, ugh, they shouldn't be doing this. But because Otis has more of the comedic aspect to his character, it comes across as more like lighthearted and, oh, he's so sweet. Look at him trying to like win this woman's heart. And who knows, she might be won over. We'll see. So it doesn't come across as like creepy or pervy to me. I think it comes across as funny. As Edwin says, Otis has the mojo. Otis has Riz. I had no idea that people were using Riz until that Oxford study came out that Riz is like the word of the year or something. Bro, I didn't even know people were using Riz. Did people know this here? Leave this in the comments. Like, how familiar were you with the word Riz? Like, were you going out and using this? Were other people using this in conversation? I need to get out more because nobody was using Riz to me. Not one person in my life this whole entire year used the word Riz in a conversation with me. And now I need to figure out what's going on because I might have to start hanging out with different people. So I'm going to wait here. Richard Martinez says, TikTok taught me Riz. See, I post on TikTok, but I don't spend time on TikTok. There's some weird stuff on TikTok and it just creeps me out and then I log off. I feel like anything that's really great on TikTok will eventually make its way to Twitter. So I'll wait till it gets to Twitter. All right, let's see what people are saying. Carmelo Hayes is a goat. He don't miss says, I love the term Riz. Tiger Claw Gaming says, nope, I've never heard Riz like ever. Kaden Crawford says, yes, I'm 18. I know Riz. It's Gen Z stuff. Oh, man. I'm going to ask my sister. She's Gen Z. I'm going to ask her. I'm going to definitely ask her. Yeah, my dad says I just figured out what yeet means, and now I have to learn what Riz means. Oh, man, I can't, guys. I can't. I need someone I need Kaden Crawford. This is your official job, Kaden Crawford, because he's 18. Your official job is to come in every stream and inform us what words are becoming a thing. Yes, I am now recruiting people to keep me young and hip because I need to know what is out there, and I don't want to find out a whole year later. Christopher Smith sends in a super chat saying, Lud Riz Kaiser. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. Would you say he has Riz? I feel weird using that word. Nah, it doesn't feel weird. Christopher Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, man. All right, so let's get into the Iron Survivor Challenge for both the women and the men because there's a whole lot to break down here. So the Iron Survivor Challenge for the women. We had the Fatal 4-Way Last Chance qualifying match, which was Thea Hale, Roxanne Perez, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James. Now, this was really good stuff. And pretty much the story of this match primarily focused on Kiana James and Roxanne Perez, because these two women have been feuding now for months or weeks. They've been feuding for a bit. And we kind of knew that this was what was going to happen. I wasn't expecting to see either Kiana or Roxanne qualify for this match, because I think it was pretty obvious that they were going to go in and have a match against each other. And in this match, we saw, I don't want to say, because we have been seeing this more aggressive Roxanne Perez, but I do feel like she kind of leveled it up just a little bit more in this match. I mean, she was all over the place. She was super fiery. She was throwing punches, jumping on people. She was moving fast and furious. Like, I'm not kidding you. Go back and rewatch that match. She was the Fast and the Furious in this match. And so Roxanne and Kiana James end up fighting on the outside. They go on top of the barricade. They end up going through the commentary table, eliminating themselves from this match. And so Fallon ends up getting the win after she gets Thea Hale with a massive kick and wins this match. And I gotta tell you, I was very happy to see Fallon Henley get this win, because Fallon Henley has been consistently on NXT now for a good amount of time. She's had some good stories. We were into that love story for a bit. She's had some good matches, and she's always sort of been like, she's waited her turn, is what I'm saying, because we've seen some other girls come in after Fallon that have kind of gotten there a little bit faster where they need to get to. But Fallon Henley has slowly been just like leveling up on the show. I wouldn't say she's had like a fast growth on the show, but she's had a really nice progression on NXT, like a consistent one. She's been consistent. That's what it is with Fallon. She's been consistent, and she finally got this opportunity, and I'm very happy for her, because I think that this is going to be a good opportunity for her to really show us what she can do in a match like this. So personally, I'm looking forward to this. And of course, we also found out via Ava Rain that we are going to be seeing Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James in a steel cage match. So given what we've seen with Roxanne Perez and weapons in the past, I think this one is going to be a good match. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here for that one. But for the women's, we officially have Tiffany Stratton, Lash legend, Blair Davenport, Kalani Jordan, and Fallon Henley in this match. And they all did a summit. So they were basically being interviewed and talking smack to each other. And this was very entertaining. I think that stuff like this could easily get like cheesy or lame, but I gotta tell you, they did a phenomenal job. There were some really great lines. Everybody's character was so sharp, in the sense that you can tell who everybody is, who everybody's personality is in this match. And I love that. I love that so much. They had some good back and forth burns with each other. At one point, Fallon Henley had the really funny line before she attacked Tiffany Stratton. She just said, oh my gosh. She said, now I'm forgetting. It was howdy. No, it was yeehaw. Oh yeah, it was yeehaw, bitch. That's what it was. I was forgetting if it was yeehaw or howdy. I don't know why, but pretty much interchangeable words for me. So that was pretty funny though, because she does it with a lot more enthusiasm than I did, and then just starts whacking freaking Tiffany Stratton. And here's the thing. So they break out, they do their fight, whatever. We end up starting to see this match between Axiom and Nathan Frazier, and they're just getting it going, but it's interrupted by the women because they go out and they start fighting each other. They're brawling. So basically showing this continuation that this fight never stopped between the women. So I thought that they did a really good job with the promos. They did a great job with the just like fighting amongst each other. It was exciting stuff. So in terms, though, of who is going to get the victory here, we've seen a lot of people sending in their predictions on who they think is going to get the victory. But I got to go with Blair Davenport. I do think that it's going to be Blair to get this win, because right now you have Lyra Valkyria, who is your champion, and she's a babyface. We I feel like she obviously needs a very strong heel, and someone who has also sort of been waiting their turn is Blair Davenport. So I feel like she's the one that makes the most sense to win this match. And I think that she's also the one that is the most skilled in this match. And so for that reason, I got to give it to Blair all the way here. But I am excited to see what Kaylani Jordan is going to be doing in this match. I recently did an interview with her. If you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's a really nice little 15-minute conversation with her. And she's so sweet, and she's gives such great insight into her background, how she went from gymnastics to pro wrestling. And because of that gymnast background, her and Tiffany have this gymnast background. I'm excited to kind of see if they do any spots like that in this match. Some like spot food, like Reg says. I think that it'll be very entertaining if we get some stuff like that. I'm expecting Blair to bring the aggression in this. I don't know what we're going to see from Lash Legend, but based on tonight, I would hope that they follow up on the power side of things for her. And then Fallon Henley, I think she's just going to go out there and do a little bit of everything. And I think she's going to look good in this, I think. So that's where I'm at with this, man. Christopher Smith says, Blair has been killing it lately. She's been having some really brutal matches lately and has been protected. Yeah, I agree. We got Tyrod Williams here who predicts that Tiffany Stratton is going to win. I feel like if Blair doesn't win, I could definitely see it being Tiffany. If it's not Blair, Tiffany. But I feel like we kind of I don't know. I'm still going with Blair, although Tiffany is a close second for me. I will say this, though. NXT has been doing a really good job of surprising me and kind of going in a different direction than I had imagined. So at this point, I'm not really trusting my predictions anymore. I feel like they're starting to break the mold and try to go different directions than people might assume. So we'll see. All right. We got a lot of people in the comments here who are picking Blair. I feel like Blair is the person that I'm most seeing here, being thrown out here in the chat, honestly. All right. So now for the Iron Survivor Challenge for the men. So we had Eddie Thorpe, Carmelo Hayes, Joe Coffey, and Tyler Bate all compete today for a second chance match. This was a really good one, had some good spots, some nice hard-hitting action. All of these guys really came through nicely, especially because they're all so different. Like their styles are very different, but they all just brought together something very cool in this match, and the crowd was very invested in it. But we do see Tyler Bate hit his Tiger Driver 97 on Joe Coffey, and he gets the win in this match. And then afterwards, we see all of the guys come out. They do this confrontation between Dijak, Josh, Trick Williams, and the crowd is going nuts for Trick Williams, by the way. Like before he was even out there, people were chanting, "Whoop that Trick." And then he finally came out and did his little bit there. But anyways, so we're going to be seeing Dijak, Trick Williams, Josh Briggs, Braun Breaker, and Tyler Bate in this match. So they have Dijak front and center in their graphic for this. I don't know that obviously doesn't mean anything, but I feel like they're seeing him as more of a bigger name than I think I might have seen him. For example, like if I was creating the graphic, I don't necessarily know that I would put Dijak right in the center. Like I would have put Braun Breaker. And if I wasn't putting Braun Breaker, I would put Trick Williams. You get me? So I don't know. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know why I said that, but I personally think that this one has to be Trick Williams. I really do think that they've got something going with him right now. I also did an interview with Trick, and dude, the guy has it. Like the guy has it. Even with just a simple interview, the dude came out with some great questions, gave some great insight. I mean, he was talking about like how he got cut from the Philadelphia Eagles and literally was almost going to go to the XFL. Lord knows what happened with the papers, what got mixed up, but Trick Williams ended up going instead of going to the XFL, he ended up getting signed by the WWE after going to a tryout, and he did his part. He had gone to the tryout and they told him he needed to learn how to wrestle. So then he went to Knott's Pro to learn how to wrestle, and then eventually went back and then got signed by the WWE. So I have a lot of respect for that man, because when I feel like if you're pursuing one thing and then it doesn't pan out the way that you thought that it would, I would have imagined he would have quit. Like, damn, I didn't make it to the NFL. I'm going to quit. And then that's it, right? But the fact that he actually went and did this crazy thing called pro wrestling and it worked out for him, I don't know. I got a lot of respect for that. And he also told me, by the way, that the way he kind of broke out of Carmelo Hayes' shadow is he went directly to Shawn Michaels' office and asked him to give him the ball. Like, give me the ball because I want to, break out, do more. And so I like that. We got to see that for Trick Williams, and things have definitely started to skyrocket for him. So I feel like he's the one to win this one. And if he doesn't, then I do think it'll be Dijak. For some reason, I'm not expecting it to be Braun Breaker. I think it's because we've seen Braun Breaker in the title picture so many times. We still need to kind of, I guess, maybe just shake it up and do something a little bit different there. But I do think Trick Williams or Dijak would probably be the ones that I think are most likely going to pick up a win here for the Iron Survivor Challenge. But that's where we're at with that portion of it. And we did have another confrontation backstage between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes because Trick Williams is still doubting that Carmelo Hayes did not do the attack on him. We all know he did it. We all know that he did it. Lexus King is out here doing these cryptic videos and talking about how his plan is working out and whatever that means. I think it's all going to come together on Saturday. Like, by Saturday, we should all know who was the one that truly physically attacked Trick Williams and who was behind it. Sheldon Jackson sends in a super chat saying, if Blair doesn't win, then IDK, what to do with her? Yeah, this is like her time, guys. This is her time. I kind of agree with that, Sheldon. It's her time. Sheldon also says, I feel bad for Joe Coffey. Ever since he's come to NXT in America, they've made him a glorified manager and wasting his wrestling ability. Man, it happens to some people. We've seen this happen with quite a few people where we don't really see them get their due diligence on the show. But I just think right now there's so much talent on the show. However, the spot is there to grab, though. Just because he's not making it to this match doesn't mean that the spot's not there to grab. I was actually in my interview with Trick Williams, I told Trick, like, dude, you weren't even on the card last year. And to see you now in this spot, I know a year may sound like a long time, but so much can happen, right? But look at him. He got there. So you never know. People could all of a sudden have this moment where they blow up and the stars align for them. So we'll see. Sheldon Jackson, thank you so much for that super chat as well. We got another one here from Christopher Smith who says, Trick told Melo that Melo opens the show and Trick closes. I think Melo's cost Trick. I think Melo will cost Trick. Melo is guilty and is clearly about to turn on Trick. That's what I'm expecting too, and that's a little bit of my fear because I'm rooting for Trick Williams to win here, so I don't want to see Carmelo Hayes screw him in this match, but I think there's a good possibility that it actually does happen. So you might be onto something here, but I do really want to see, Trick pick up the win here. But yes, he told him that he's going to open the show, so I'm assuming that match is going to go on first. We'll see if we end up seeing Lexus King versus Carmelo Hayes open up the show. He made it seem that way, but I'm not too entirely sure. We'll find out. And we are going to be getting Carmelo Hayes versus Lexus King. And according to Carmelo Hayes, he's doing this match to prove that he's not in cahoots with Lexus King. Christopher Smith, thank you so much for sending that. I appreciate you a whole lot. And all right, so let's see where we're at now. All right. Before we get into the official predictions and everything else that went down on NXT, I want to take a second, guys, and let you all know that I'm so happy because Miracle Sheets has decided to sponsor me again for this month. I was very happy. They said I did pretty all right in November. So I'm hoping that I get to continue this sponsorship with Miracle Made. So check it out, guys, and why you guys should check out Miracle Made Sheets. Did you know that traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat? It can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses, and it's just gross. Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning, eco-friendly bedding such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent 99% of bacteria and require 3 times less laundry. Through their silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made is designed to keep you at the perfect temperature so you get better sleep every night. Miracle Sheets are the perfect gift for your spouse, friends, or family. Who doesn't want better sleep and luxurious feeling bed sheets? And since these come with 3 free towels, you get 2 gifts in one just in time for the holidays. Go to trymiracle.com/Denise to try it today or gift it to someone special this holiday season. Save over 40% off, and if you use the promo code Denise at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Denise to treat yourself, a friend, or loved one this holiday season. The link is in the description box below. Alrighty, everyone, let's continue the conversation here. And we got 2 more topics to get into in regards to NXT, and then we'll run down final official deadline predictions. And also, I will be here at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time following, well, whenever the hell NXT Deadline ends. All right, whenever the show ends, I will be here doing a post show that day. So if you guys want to come out and hang out, I'm going to be live doing a post show for that. So other topics to get into: Lola Vice threatens to cash in on Lyra Valkyria with her contract here. So it looks like she's going to try to get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship, which she should definitely try to. She also had a victory over Tatum Paxley, and so that was fine. Good little match there. Then we also had the final segment of the show, which was Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin. I think that this main event program, I don't think feels as hot as some of, I don't know. I think I was expecting it to feel a little hotter at this point. I feel like maybe I don't know. I feel like I'm not seeing very many people talk about it here. You guys let me know here in the chat, because I'm not really too sure. I can't seem to get a good vibe on how people feel about this one here. And this one, the story here is basically Baron Corbin bragging about his life being so much better than Ilya Dragunov's, and Ilya Dragunov has been severely insulted by Baron Corbin and the statements that he has made, the jokes that he has made in terms of his family, making fun of the fact that he can't kiss his wife, and he gets to kiss his wife every single night and Ilya Dragunov cannot. Like, that's pretty savage, man. And so Ilya is freaking pissed, and he tells them, so Corbin's trying to get Ilya to attack him, trying to get him angry, trying to get under his skin. But Ilya is the kind of person that has a lot of discipline, so he's not going to let that happen. And even though Baron Corbin allows him to get a cheap shot in this little segment that they did here, he instead chooses to hug Baron Corbin. He squeezes him and tells him the only person who can destroy the dragon is the dragon himself. So, let's see what people are saying, guys. Let's see what people are saying about this. All right. Kaden Crawford's, oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Okay, this one's from Taker Claw, who says, Corbin is just boring. Face the facts, Denise. Look, he's doing so much better on NXT, guys. He really, really is. Hunter Tillman says, ain't feeling it. MD says, Baron Corbin was cooking Dragunov. Marvin says that the segment between Corbin and Ilya Dragunov was awesome. Kaden Crawford says that he was expecting fire in the promo, was not feeling it, and the man of the spark was not there. I thought Ilya was definitely fired up, but something's missing. I think something's missing in this story, and I can't put my finger on it. We'll see. Maybe it's the fact that none of us actually think that Baron Corbin's going to defeat Ilya. And if he does defeat Ilya, where do we go from here? You know, so I don't know what to say. Edwin Pacino says it's not the most exciting thing on NXT, but man, Dragunov makes me feel every time. That last line was awesome. Like, that's the thing. I feel that Dragunov gets over more in the ring. Like, Point blank. He gets over when he's wrestling. That's when everybody's high on Ilya, is when he's wrestling. And we'll see. Yeah, my bad, says. I'm just not feeling it. It's basically Baron Corbin's career. Great worker, but just doesn't elicit the intended emotions. Here's the thing. He did intend some good emotions when he was broke-ass Corbin. That was fun. I like the stuff that he did with Pat McAfee. That was fun, too. I don't know what is missing in the storyline. Something's missing, but I think Ilya Dragunov will bring out some really good stuff out of Baron Corbin in that. So I'm looking forward to the match itself. Sheldon Jackson sends in a super chat saying, also this Melo trick King has vibes of Triple H Stone Cold's Rikishi vibes from back in the day. Rikishi runs over Stone Cold, but paid by Triple H to do so, to do the deed and try to keep his hands clean. I did it for The Rock. We know this stuff, man. But no, seriously, Sheldon, I like that you bring this up here because I hope that's something that they're doing here. We've seen them do stuff like this where they kind of mirror past storylines and people love nostalgia. So I hope that this really pays off on Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing how they tidy this all up. I'm curious to see how they explain everything. Sheldon, thank you so much for the super chat and for all the DWL memberships. Chloe Adams sends in a super chat saying, what are they wasting Kiana James, the best heel? Kiana James is a great heel, by the way. She's a very, very good one. I don't think that they're wasting her. I think the story with Roxanne Perez has gotten very good. I'm very interested in how much they hate each other. Roxanne Perez, even though she's the aggressive one, she's being more aggressive, and even though she's being more edgy, she's still the baby face in this. And Kiana James is still the heel in this. So I think they're doing a good job with Kiana. She's also she's similar to Fallon Henley, in my opinion, where she's waited her turn and her turn has come. That's sort of how I feel about that. I see her similar to Fallon Henley. Chloe Adams, thank you so much for the super chat. All right. And let's go ahead and get into the official deadline predictions. So here we go, everybody. We have the pre-show, which is going to be Axiom versus Nathan Frazier. We've seen these two guys wrestle a whole lot already. We got snippets of them again here tonight before they were interrupted by the women. And honestly, this one's like either or. It's a pre-show match. I don't care if it's Axiom or Nathan Frazier. They're both doing great stuff. I think Nathan Frazier probably needs it a little bit more, so I'm going to go with Nathan Frazier for the win here. For the men card, for the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, my official pick is Trick Williams. Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, my official pick is Blair Davenport. The steel cage match between Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James. I want to see Kiana James get the win here. Chloe Adams here was just talking about, maybe underutilizing Kiana James a little bit. I think that Roxanne Perez is on the verge of maybe turning heel, like officially, and she might need something to get her there. And it might be this feud with Kiana James. And so I want to see Kiana James get the win. And I think we'll see some good stuff out of it. I think Kiana James needs to get the win here, though. And I think they can tell an even longer story with Roxanne and Kiana. We'll see. We'll see. This may be the end of it. And if it is, that's fine. If it is the end of it, then definitely Roxanne. If it's not the end, if they're still going to do more, then Kiana James. But my official pick is Kiana James. Carmelo Hayes versus Lexis King. I'm expecting something fishy to go down here. I don't think Lexis King should be losing, like literally his big first PLE match. So for that reason, I'm going with Lexis King, but something fishy is going to go down here. I don't know what it's going to be, but I do think that Lexis King and Carmelo Hayes are working together. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Something's going to happen that's going to make us it's going to play into the ending of the show. Somehow, some way, they're going to tie it all in together. We'll see. There was a reason why Trick Williams said that line where he said that he's going to kick off the show and that he's going to finish the show. So we'll see. NXT North American Championship, Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio. So when it was Wesley, I was predicting that Wesley was going to win and that Dominic was going to lose the title. I still think Dominic Mysterio is going to lose the title. You can't have Dragon Lee come out here and be like a big replacement and he's going to be cornered by Rey Mysterio and then have him lose. I feel like you need to have Dragon Lee win. I think we need a surprise here. And this will be that surprise. NXT Championship, Ilya Dragunov versus Baron Corbin. I feel this one's pretty straightforward. Ilya Dragunov for the win. I don't know how I would feel. Ilya Dragunov losing to Baron Corbin so soon. So for that reason, it feels like a straightforward pick to say Ilya Dragunov. That's for sure. All right, we got a super chat here from Will Chisholm who says, my theory is Cora will cost Roxanne the match. That's the only way I can see how to return Cora. That makes sense. Yeah, well, because Roxanne and Cora had like a great feud. But here's the thing though, do you want to circle back to that? Wouldn't you want to see something different with Cora Jade as well as Roxanne? I feel like I would want to see something different, but right now, I guess that's the only thing that would seem like it matches up with Cora Jade and why she would return, because she can claim that she has unfinished business with Roxanne, even though I feel like that's pretty much over with. But I see why you're thinking the way that you're thinking for this one here. But I kind of hope that they do something a little bit different. I really do. I hope that she maybe comes after Lyra Valkyria. I would love to see her come after Lyra. I think Lyra doesn't have to just have Lola Vice on her tail. She can have plenty of other people coming for her championship. Or hell, maybe even Tiffany Stratton. Maybe go back to that. We'll see. I don't know. I think that there's a lot more options than just going to Roxanne Perez. Will Chisholm, thank you so much for that super chat and sending in your thoughts on what can go down with Cora Jade. And we got a couple of people here saying that they want to see Roxanne Perez's heel turn. I'm curious because she's such a natural baby face. Not so much anymore now that we've been seeing an edgier side of her. Now that we're seeing her almost cross that line, you're kind of feeling like you're intrigued by it. At least that's how I'm feeling. I'm intrigued by the possibilities of a bad girl version of Roxanne Perez. So we'll see. Zeno Hour predicts that they're going to reunite Roxanne and Cora. What if she helps Roxanne Perez defeat Kiana James? What if she helps her instead and the two former enemies become frenemies, a tag team of some sort? I actually like that. You know what? I'm kind of on board with that. You know what? I don't hate that at all. We got more people bringing that up now. Chase Elliott says the same thing. I could see Cora helping Roxanne to beat Kiana. It would be different, and it would be the thing that would change Roxanne Perez. It would be kind of cool. I don't hate it. I would like to see that. Alrighty, guys. Before we wrap things up, friendly reminder, I will be here on Wednesday tomorrow with Righteous Reg to talk about AEW Dynamite. And then Friday, I will be here for Smackdown. It's going to be a big show, too, because CM Punk is going to be on the show. So make sure you tune into that post-show as well. And then Saturday, I will be here to do the NXT Deadline post-show. And before we go, I got 2 brand new Apple Podcast reviews. You guys know how I do. If you guys leave a review, I read them here on the show to say thank you to you guys for taking the time to actually go and leave a review. If you guys want to, the link is in the description box below where you can go ahead and leave a rating. We got one here from Kenny Val Green who says, love the podcast and Denise's enthusiasm for pro wrestling and makes listening enjoyable. She has intelligent takes and love how detailed reviews and love how detailed she reviews the show. Always look forward to listening. Kenny Val Green, thank you so much for the 5-star review and the very kind comment. We got one here from Metal Chick for Life who says, West Coast connection. Denise and Reg are killing the game. Never miss a podcast. Always good wrestling talk and more. Cream cheese pie, wiki feet, imaginary boyfriends. You get it all, and I'm here for it. All the best, Sven. Thank you so much for taking the time to leave a review. Once again, that is over on Apple Podcasts. You can do that through the app. Just search up Instinct Culture by Denise. And this helps out in multiple ways. It helps my podcast rank higher, which means more people will discover it, which means more people will check out the show, which means that I get more sponsorship opportunities. And that's like the way to, obviously make some additional income. So it kind of all works itself out. Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the NXT podcast, and I will be back tomorrow with Righteous Reg for AEW Dynamite. Have an awesome day, everybody, or an awesome night. Bye, everyone.